The San Antonio Spurs are about to enter a new era that is full of mystery, and it's unknown how we're going to fare in the next few years. With the departure of DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, the Spurs have officially entered the rebuilding process, and it is now time for young prospects to shine and show what they can do. DeJounte Murray has proven himself a terrific defender at the one, and can play make and score at a pretty efficient level. His backcourt running mate is Lonnie Walker, who has taken his time in the league to prove his worth, but still has a lot of untapped potential. To finish out the starting lineup, we have defensive stopper Jakob Poeltl, and either Doug McDermott or Thaddeus Young filling in the 2 spot. And of course, the man we're talking about in this video, Keldon Johnson. So why do I believe that Keldon Johnson will win the MIP? Let's talk about it. Keldon Johnson, the 6'5" bulldozer, will be entering his 3rd year in the league, and the expectations for him are high. A proficient defender and decent 3-point shooter, Keldon has more to offer than just his talent to attack the rim at full velocity, and his talents have earned him a starting role in the Spurs last year. But with the loss of his all-star caliber teammate in DeMar DeRozan,
we really should have made the All-Star team over certain players last year, but that's whatever.
The Spurs are relying on Keldon to lead them into the future. But why Keldon? Firstly, Pop chose him to be on the Olympic team this year, so it's pretty clear that Keldon is going to be the guy that Pop wants to train up. And by all standards, it seems he chose the right guy. Keldon is unique in the best of ways. A 6'5" power forward who has the incredible leading ability of a wing, the speed of a guard, and the strength of a big man. Keldon's dynamic nature leaves him to be incredibly hard to guard and predict, and this gives Leaf the incredible potential he holds. If Keldon stays in the same trajectory from his first 2 seasons, he'll be averaging roughly 17 and 9. But that isn't even counting the fact that the primary ball handler and scorer has left the team, meaning that Keldon will most likely be the primary option, and very well could average over 20 a game, which on its own merit would be convincing enough argument to at least have him in the conversation. However, what pushes Keldon's chances over the edge, at least in my opinion, is who he'll be playing under. Greg Popovich has established himself as one of the greatest coaches in sports, let alone basketball history. And if Pop sees something special in this kid, I think he deserves to be paid some attention to. Keldon has shown that he isn't afraid to attack the rim and shoot threes when given the space. He can be an absolute bully to small guards in the paint, and has even run times at power forward despite only being 6'5". He also has decent enough handles. With his speed and athleticism, his defensive capability is only going to go up. All that being said, there are some significant obstacles that Keldon is going to need to overcome if he wants to claim this award. The hardest hurdle for Keldon to have to overcome is simply where he's playing. Now, I might be a huge Spurs fan, but the league in general definitely isn't. And players on our team are almost always overlooked. It happened to our big 3, it happened to Kawhi, and it certainly happened to Aldridge and DeRozan, who played some of their best years in San Antonio. The Spurs curse will certainly pass on to Keldon. He'll have to go above and beyond to get any sort of recognition from the media if he wants to stand a chance at winning this award. The next challenge for Keldon is the fact that the Spurs are most likely not going to place very high at all in the standings. They've gone fully into rebuild mode, and it'd be a pretty bold claim to see them going anywhere above the 10th seed this upcoming year. While not the most important factor, wins definitely play a significant role in who wins the award. Just look at this past year's contestants. Take a look at these stats for Jeremy Grant, Christian Wood, and Julius Randle. If you go by numbers alone, both Grant and Wood had higher statistical jumps than Randle. So why did neither of them win? Because they were on 2 of the worst teams in the league. Randle was the leader of a team who went from being one of the worst teams in the NBA to becoming the 4th seed. Yes, he may have performed poorly in the playoffs, but if you genuinely think that Randle didn't deserve to win MIP last season, you need to get your brain checked. The last and probably biggest challenge is the fact that the MIP award is almost completely unpredictable. Or is it? Before the start of the 2020-2021 season, there were probably some that predicted Jeremy Grant or Christian Wood potentially winning MIP. but I guarantee no one saw Julius Randle winning it. The Knicks took the whole league by surprise with how well they performed last year, and Randle's amazing improvement was not expected at all. But what about the other years? There have certainly been a lot of unpredictable wins. Whether it was Pascal Siakam in 2018, CJ McCollum in 2016, Ryan Anderson in 2012, or Aaron Brooks in 2010. However, there is definitely a pattern that exists, and Keldon Johnson fits the mold perfectly. In 2019, a promising young talent in Brandon Ingram was traded away from the Los Angeles Lakers to the New Orleans Pelicans. With Zion out for most of the season, the team quickly turned to Ingram as their primary ball scorer, a role he would have never gotten playing next to LeBron, and he wins the MIP award in 2020. In the 2017 offseason, the Pacers decided they want to go into rebuilding mode and traded away superstar Paul George to the Oklahoma City Thunder for draft picks, as well as some young talents, including Victor Oladipo. Oladipo was a solid player for the Thunder, but wasn't given his chance to shine behind superstar Russell Westbrook. So when he arrives in Indiana, he proves himself to be the best player on their sub-mediocre team and wins MIP. So how does Keldon fit this mold? Sure, both Ingram and Oladipo were both young talents who were given the green light all of a sudden, which is what's going to happen with Keldon next year. But Keldon wasn't traded. He's on the same team that drafted him. Well, don't worry, that's just the start. The 2015-2016 Bucks were a mediocre team who didn't really have much sense of direction. Their top scorer was Chris Middleton with 18 points, followed by Giannis with 16, Greg Monroe with 15, Jabari Parker with 14, and Michael Carter-Williams with 11. They didn't have any clear leader on their squad, but this Giannis kid sure seemed to be a great talent, and so the Bucks decided to make him the primary scorer for their team. Giannis plays at an all-star level the next season and wins MIP. The 13-14 Bulls were in a rough spot, where they couldn't figure out who their guy was since Derrick Rose was clearly not going to be the same player after his horrible injury in 2012. Their top scorer was Lil Den, who was traded away for Pau Gasol. While Pau was still great, he was getting old, and they needed another player to step up. Hence, Jimmy Butler, who started at shooting guard the previous season and showed great potential on both sides of the court. In 2015, he truly stepped up his game and won MIP. The same goes for so many other MIP winners, whether it be Goran Dragic in 2014 after Steve Nash left, Paul George in 2013 after Danny Granger was out with injury, Kevin Love in 2011 after Al Jefferson left for the Bobcats, or even the GOAT Aaron Brooks. I mean, yeah, it would have been impossible to predict his breakout year at the start of the season, but with both their stars in Yao and T-Mac being injured, all that was really left was Brooks. With all that being said, there's a lot riding on Keldon's back, and I'm excited to see where he can take us next year. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this in the future. I post a mixture of NBA content, from video essays like this, to deep dives like my video on why Greg Popovich is the greatest coach of all time, to an NBA 2K resimulation series, where I wind the clocks back to the 09-10 season and see how the league would turn out in another reality. I custom made the roster for it myself, and I put months of effort into it, not only creating the roster, but editing the videos as well. So please go check out this series. I promise you won't regret it. Alright, so that's going to do it for this video. So once you click that like button and subscribe, you're dismissed. Big Bird out.